This is you. I think we've been milking this long enough, viewers. Take just a little bit longer, or should we just put time for some tests? I think it's cold as hell in here. I think I forgot to turn my heater on. Oh, welcome back to the pokiest of motoring shows on all of the interweb. As you can see, this tasty little piece of vintage driftiness is getting a lot closer to being a full-blown chassis. As a matter of fact, it just became that about 5 minutes ago. You can see that I took a carbon fiber paddle up here and a steering servo, a little spacer, get the servo mounted up, kind of end on look. I found a stripped out aluminum steering arm right there. Fantastic. It was stripped in a single impact against a sidewalk, and for some reason this Spectrum servo, the friggin' teeth on it I think are bigger. Something's off, something's weird, something's funky. I couldn't get my regular cool guy, slim, petite, fits perfect everywhere servo saver in there, so we just went ahead and made it happen, Captain. Plus it's got that spring-loaded servo saver in it too, so having two of them is kind of dumb. So yeah, stripped out piece of aluminum, kind of tapped it on there, fits okay. It bolts in for both sides and the front. So once you did that, once I got that all together, it seemed to be in the correct position and seemed to hold, because I can turn the stuff and it doesn't skip or strip out. So what we're going to do is slide in a little battery pack here. Hoping like hell that I've got the wiring all squared away. Let's put some batteries. Oh, there it all goes. It's all happening for me now. Put some batteries in our new radio. Hopefully it doesn't have to do any binding or silliness. So it would just be silly. Okay. Let's see how easy the SLT3 is to operate. Alright, so we got power or no? Oh, there's power. Throttle, reverse, steering reverse. Throttle 50, 75, 100. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to back the steering rate right down, and hopefully it centers itself without killing itself, because it's got the ball end sticking back over the servo case. So if it decides to go funky, it could go bad. Oh. I'm not sure what this thing wants me to do. Do I need to reverse the throttle? I don't know if you can see it on there. Oh, yeah, you can see that. Inside here, right down there, little blinking light. We got power. But since I'm a wise ass, I didn't download any instructions or a manual, say. So we're going to go ahead and put that back to normal. It's not really letting me do anything yet. I say, let's see. We can touch this. And okay. All right. Let's hold this down. Turn it back on. Red light on. Okay, no other lights on. Solid red light. Okay, pushing that doesn't do much. Sets it into some kind of mode though. On, okay, Christmas lights, blinking white. We got nothing. Well, I have to assume that it's working, but not happy with the radio setup. Auxiliary one, battery. Isn't a bind on there? Huh. I'm a total expert at this stuff. Can't you tell? Can you not see how awesome I am at this stuff? I don't really think that that's necessarily doing anything it shouldn't be. I don't see any light coming out of my receiver. Don't know if there should be. This is part of the fun. Oh, ooh, that's a button. Oh, aha, okay. So we must be getting a blinking light out of this guy because this guy's not exactly happy. I love buying stuff that has no instructions in it. So, this is one of the pitfalls of buying stuff from eBay. Sometimes it's something that somebody just decided to take out of somewhere. Okay, well, maybe if we just turn it on. I don't know. It doesn't want to do the blinky thing anymore. So it must be something to do with it. Is there a bind switch on this? I don't see one. It's on. Oh, you know what? Maybe if we hold this down, turn this on, that's on there. Okay. Maybe not. All right, so this one's on. Let's push this in. Turn that on. Hold for 5 seconds. I'm just coming up with this stuff, making it up in my own mind. That maybe it'll work. Kind of frustrating, really. Obviously, all blinking. Things are happening. Stuff is going on. but I can't get it to think together. Uh, hmm. Mildly unfortunate. I don't know what exactly to do other than. And I suppose the live stream would still keep going if I started Googling stuff right in the middle of it. How does a dummy program this radio? Okay. I don't know. This is. Now this is tricky. I got a bind plug from Spectrum Radios, and I've got an auxiliary. Does the bind plug go in the battery or the auxiliary port? It'd have to go in the battery, right? Well, let's see if we can burn this up in one shot. Oh, no. Hold this down. I don't think it did anything. Not cool. Not cool. Okay. That doesn't make me feel very good. Let's try just turning it on. So then, well, it just fires up and does that by its own little self, doesn't it? We got nothing. Did I ever get any instructions from any of the Spectrum radios that we bought, which is like half a dozen? No. This is a problem. Okay. Trouble is, the 2-channel ones were bound like out of the box. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. See, in the two, they got one that says bind in it. Why would it literally be the same model and not be bindable? Okay, so maybe try it in reverse. I don't know if I should disconnect the throttle control or turn this off. A little bit lost. Okay, so that's on. It thinks it doesn't have a radio. That's on. It doesn't think it has a transmitter. That's on now. Still doesn't think it has a transmitter. Right anywhere closer. Son of a bitch. Huh. Alright. Well, let's just see if this. Oh. How to bind a spec. Hopefully the stream is still going. Power on the receiver. Press the bind button 3 times. The LED will pause. Oh, okay. 3 times quickly, huh? Let's see here. Where's my little poker? Let's get back to the stream just in case. Are we here? You're here. We're here. Let's do this. Oh, shit. Okay, so we need to be up a bit further here. Like this way. Alright, so that needs to obviously be cranked over. Okay. We got steering. That's good. Oh hell, it's got reverse. Okay, so what I think we might do, just because we got it. Got some kind of clicking going on. I don't know what. Okay. Steering down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull the servo back out. I think I might actually have this thing geared pretty good. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to test and see whether or not my Cutie Pie purple lug nuts will actually go on. Ooh, nice, they do. All right, so let's see if my drift rims will go on here. We're gonna probably have to do some spacing. And do I have? Hopefully that is not coming up in the stream because there's some kind of box. Okay. Well, I'll try to do a little drifting right out in this area there, just as the chassis is, just to see if it can. There you go. Okay. Looks like we got it running, and that's a good start. Like I said, the spacers will probably have to come into play for the rear at least, and probably on the front too. I remember that Lamborghini being real wide. These Super Trofeos are like a 200 millimeter body. I'm going to turn this off and swap the battery out to something a bit more sensible, a bit more what it's going to actually be using. Should we put it back here? No, it won't reach. Huh, okay. Well, I guess that's kind of how it'll have to go. Ooh, this is maybe not so funny. Okay. Let's get this thing plugged back in. Turn back on. See if this is even gonna be able to work here. We're splitting the wires up a little bit. Oh. Okay. All right, when we go to full steering on right turn, well, wait a minute, no, we're actually needing to have steering reversed. Okay, so all right, so right now we don't have a whole lot of left turn. That's just gonna have to be how that is. Be able to drift around to the right. It's cut reverse. We're just gonna have to burn that right out of it. I'm not sure any proper drift car would have reverse. That's a gear you shouldn't technically need. Properly drifted, you should never need it, I think. Okay, so as you likely have seen, I had the old drift rims that were on the racing car when it was a drift car. So now we got there you have it. Now, if we can, let's, oh, there we go. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. Ooh. Oh. A little not enough space. See, drift is kind of a slow speed deal. I like the reverse, I do. And the fact that this thing came attached, excuse me, it came attached to a 5800 kV motor. So what I'm going to go ahead and assume is that this crusher motor control with almost no resistance from the tires because they're the hard plastic, and really what could only be considered is pretty low gearing. Like, I'm not really stretching this thing's limits as far as the motor mount's concerned, so I could get to a pretty big gear, probably 35 maybe 40 teeth in that pitch before it gets too out of hand, and that would really pick up the speed. But the thing is that on a drifting car, here, let me get over here where you can see it. On any kind of a drifting car, what you're really looking for is this nice slow speed kind of turn where you can hold. You see, it's just not very fast. But when you put it on, and I'll put the spool end on so you can see it, look, I'm holding it down. You see that? It's got plenty of gear. The motor's not cogging. It's not doing anything. And it's not really kind of getting up to this extraordinary speed that starts shaking and rattling everything apart, because the faster you go, especially on an older machine, you're going to end up having all these little things that culminate in pretty deep rattles and problems. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Take the bind plug out. Obviously, that did something or maybe nothing. A whole lot of something, or potentially a complete load of nothing. All right, so that puts us in good stead for being a drift car. I like the idea of these being just somewhat mobile. Body pin to fit in here just enough. There. I just want to see where. See, look. See how with the body pins, the posts in, the wheel well is just way, way, way off, and then the back one is too. It's going to be pretty unfortunate. We're going to have to pop new holes, get them centered, get it located way down low. What's really kind of interesting is that this chassis, I cannot believe that this would be a Tamiya chassis. Something tells me that this thing is not Tamiya. Why? Because this is a 200 millimeter kind of what I would consider as a generic, quotes, generic body. Let's put this back down here. So, and you can see, I mean, we got some paint issues that are kind of happening here, but it's your Lamborghini Gallardo. It was a Super Trofeo, I think. It had the wings and all the fancy stuff, but we just went with Chameleon and stickered the crap out of this, sticker bombed it, which is, I think, what you do when you have a drift car. But since the body's going to be all funky on me, and this body actually is punched out for a 416, we may just buy a different Lambo body and redo the paint. I have some alignment work to do, and the width of this body fits perfectly with these things, and it's stock spacers. On that Tamiya chassis, I had to space the living crap out of it, and when I'm looking at it now, I mean, it's just as wide in the front as it is the back. This thing is massive. So, yeah. I mean, it fills up this entire body. That's definitely a lot bigger than a Tamiya, chassis-wise, which is cool. That's going to be really good when you need to. It's built like that for a drift car. It's probably never going to need to be fixed or changed other than just throw some bearings at it, and those are 10, 12, 15 bucks a set. I can see that they're basically the same kind of metric sizes, it looks like. That's just something you take them out, measure them with a caliper, and measure the inside. There's your shaft size, and measure the outside. There's your case size, and then find it. Usually eBay. Not usually, every time eBay. Just go to eBay. Don't dig around. I like it. I like it. It's fresh and it's fun. The steering works. Yeah, let me look at that. Let me see what we got. Oh, wait. Never mind. There we go. All right. So let me look and see if there's any flex. Oh, well, there's not that much at all. That's pretty cool. And ground clearance wise, let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. So we're going to be able to lean that in, lay it down just a little bit. And then what I'll do is take a sanding disc and file off that little nut assembly, which will kind of lock the bolt and nut together so that this little carbon plate doesn't drag on the ground or get caught on anything. At least it shouldn't, not very much. But as you can see, you can throw together. So here, let me put it in front of the camera so you can actually see. Basically, it's just kind of old school. Find it used. Take a look at what the chassis got to offer. Your little ring and pinions just hanging out in the air there. Definitely not for mud or water or anything, but this one running around on the dry, doing some driftiness. is definitely, ooh. That's kind of cool. You actually have to put a little bit of opposite lock into this thing. I love the reverse. That's cool. Dig it. Dig it. So yeah, there we have it. A little bit of a drift car for my lady love. We have, as a rundown, just generally speaking, you get your little El Cheapo plastic rims and tires, eBay, China, or wherever, $10. The chassis is an I don't know. It's a stray from Taiwan, obviously from eBay. Looks to me like some old Kyosho or something like that. Really cool. Aluminum bulkheads for the differentials. It's got open diffs where you can see you've got little hardened steel gears. The front has got a ball differential. Looks like Teflon or Delrin or something. Got a spring-loaded servo saver here. Obviously, since it's a drifter, you got to have it kind of hacked together. So I left the shock towers. I'm just leaving it just the way it is, kind of hackified. You know what I mean? And I'll probably have to change the bolts in the lower shocks because they look like they're about to pop out. Spectrum S614 servo. That's new, but somebody nabbed it out of a kit. Got a Spectrum radio. SLT3 with an SR315 receiver. Figured out on the fly how to bind that thing. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Found a Novak Crusher motor control. Lovely bit of capacitors. I mean, this thing's a lot more heavy duty than what this car needs, but that's the thing. You can drift it for hours and hours and not really worry about overheating everything. This, as it turns out, was pretty easily programmed. It just kind of picked up and gave me the functions that I want. I don't need the super high performance version, and usually these motor controls, any of them, will just go to a base mode where it's not really trying to kick out the jams. But that's all I need. I just need functionality. I got a used Novak 13.5 turn motor. Here, maybe you want to see it too. Works just fine. Looks like a 20-tooth pinion gear. Somewhere in the 48 pitch range is what worked. That's probably a bit of a gear reduction. I could probably shift that up to a 25 tooth and get a really nice bit of speed out of this. But frankly, when it comes to drifting, you kind of want it a little bit slow. It's got all aluminum shocks. I got to adjust these upper arms and soak the tires in, give them a nice rake. We're definitely going to have to get the body going and get it set up a little bit better. Either we're going to punch new holes or just order a new body for it and get it worked in. But yeah, I think overall, let's see. Chassis was $130, $140. Servo was $15. Motor was $25. The motor control and another motor were $60, but I'm going to try and sell that motor for like $30 or something, make half my money back. Radio was like $45, $50. So a few $100s, a few weeks worth of your time kind of waiting on parts. Getting everything soldered was pretty easy because of that $9 soldering iron. A few more adjustments here and there to get everything. I probably have to pull the servo off, get the arm actually on in the center position so I have steering right and left to its fullest extent, and then I can back it off as much as I need to where you don't have to pitch it so hard. Maybe redo a little bit of work on getting the shocks a little bit less functified. Other than that, I don't think that's a bad deal. Had a body and some rims sitting around, and now we've got, I'll get up here and give you the origin to where we're at, okay? So, as you can see, now we've got an Alfa Romeo and a Lamborghini that we can drift. This one, if you know anything about drifters, they're kind of scruffy. They're kind of beat up. They're used to being thumped against walls and just like held together by stickers and spit and Kleenex and stuff. So, well, duct tape mostly. I would say Gorilla Tape and duct tape. But as you can see, like the back ends are just kind of beat up. But if you notice the stance that these vehicles have, you've probably seen it in traffic and it's made you angry. Why would they do that to a car? Well, because they like sliding sideways and cloud of their own tire smoke with a smile on their face. We like to do that in 10th scale and just sticker bomb the crap out of them. And of course do it to European cars because it is the Keith Moon style of drifting where you take something high class and civilized and immediately make it lower class and ugly. But this one, if you want to know what's all up inside this guy, a drifter is kind of like a racing car, to my way of thinking, that is out of service as a racing car. No more parts, too old, too beat up, stuff like that. So when you take and refinish it out as a drifting car, it's kind of cool in my mind to take and use like older vintage parts, stuff you have laying around in a bin. When you bash a rim, you just go with a different one and a completely different tire so that the rake has to cut the tire. So it kind of handles weird. You take apart the differentials because they're open gear diffs and you just glue them together with JB Weld. Because look, if you notice, the differential bulkhead's broken on this one. It's got steering, aluminum steering that matched up with a gigantic four-wheel drive. I put a carbon fiber battery plate for side impact stuff. 27-turn Birdman motor. It's got an antique Novak. What the hell is this thing? Something or other motor control with a big giant capacitor and then a Novak 2-cell LiPo Smart Stop. It's a LiPo battery cutoff so I can use modern batteries. We got an ancient Futaba servo with some really funky looking servo saver hooked up to it. But it's got aluminum steering. It's got a serious rake. We got Firebrand Crown Jewel rims, at least 3 of them. Some shocks, I would say. And the cheapest, nastiest radio that just can't find an adjustment. It's one of those Red Sky or Fly Sky radios that you can get for $30 that I took off of some other vehicle because I just had to upgrade its radio. It was so crap. Then, of course, I had to get like special axles. Took me 2 or 3 tries to figure out how to get the stupid things to fit in there. And now this thing's pretty tight. So it wears batteries pretty quick, but everything's locked up. If you can see, there is no... Everything's glued. So this is fully spooled because of JB Weld. Sponsored by JB Weld and Rust-Oleum. This car is fantastic. So as a drift car, but you can see how ugly the rake is on those tires and how it's supposed to settle down into driving sideways. So I will do that to this one so that they can both enjoy the slippery, slidey driftiness and all that other cool guy stuff. But just wanted to get into this one real quick this morning and kind of show what this thing should be doing and what it was meant for, get it kind of finished up. I've been milking it for way too long. And kind of give the theory of how I'm like, why do I take something that may be, ooh, it's so nice, why not fix it up nicer? You can't find parts for this. I don't even know what this is. This thing's a freaking albatross. It's a gorgeous, beautiful albatross with aluminum and carbon fiber and steel everywhere, but it just isn't what you would use to really drive as a road car. As a drifter, excellent. So we are going to cut that off here so as not to bother you all with a bunch of fluff and bullshit, because I'm not about that. This one's basically done. I got it rocked out. I just need to do an alignment, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with the body. Maybe pop some new holes in this one, because, I mean, why not? You shred bodies. We also got a Camaro body up there that I can throw on here, like a 68 Camaro. I'm not using any of my racing bodies on that. We've got a few down there that can go. I think I've got a setup planned out for this carbon fiber chassis that I've been salivating over for so long. I mean, I'm going to need a few more pieces for it, but I think it's going to be like a pretty radical 037. But thank you for dropping by. I appreciate your subscriptions and your viewership. Is that the way to put it? I don't know. I'm not really a TV producer, guys. I just I'm glad that you maniacs like watching this stuff. So, till next time.